defectors join the coward Kel Mizrax. It is worthless, House of Light.
You let the Guardians see me like this? We'll have words once I'm out of here.
Pirates.
Now go show those pirates what happens when they cross Spider.
Ready when you are, Captain.
Did I just get through an hour of Destiny seasonal content in the year of our Lord 2022 without having to deal with Crow's main character syndrome? Best start to a season ever! What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again once again, and today people, Season of Plunder is upon us, and Season of Plunder quite possibly has some of the strongest presentation of any Destiny season so far, at least out of the gate. It drips and oozes in style. It's the sort of silly junk food that Destiny absolutely positively needs more of. Presentation is important. Most RPGs are just a series of quest systems. However, it's the way that those quest systems are presented that is the key difference between Destiny 2 and Final Fantasy XIV. I know, Joker don't mention Final Fantasy XIV in a video challenge impossible, but hear me out. A bounty in Destiny 2 could be, say, go kill 10 Fallen, and that's it, that's the quest. And we see this all the time, even with exotic quest. An exotic quest could be like, go kill 10 Cabal and retrieve their metadata. And that's it, there's no set dressing, there's no story, just go kill 10 Cabal, get their metadata, and return to Raoul the Ghoul for quest completion. Which in my opinion has always been kind of boring. I mean, it gets the job done, but that's about it. Whereas in Final Fantasy XIV, there's usually a lot more set dressing when it comes to these sort of quests. Stories, character interactions, things that flavor the killing of 10 random enemies into something more than just a series of systems that you need to do for EXP and level progression. It's the set dressing that makes the activity fun. This is basically why stories like The Norsemen, Hamlet, and The Lion King are all the same stories, but it's the presentation of the story and the little changes that make the stories unique. Season of the Plunder is the first season to bring us multiple seasonal activities that you participate in all at relatively the same time, each activity actively feeding into one another. First up, you have Catch Crash, which tries to emulate the feel of two ships on the Sea of Stars fighting one another. There's boarding, there's raiding. It starts out pretty simple. You land on your catch, you clear your main deck. While holding 4 locations, these locations allow your ship to fire cannons at the other ship. Cannons that you will eventually launch yourself out of. When you board the enemy catch, there will be 3 objectives. The order of the objectives will be randomized. You can do the throw ball to destroy enemy ether tanks, the kill 2 spider walkers, or the kill the gigantic servitor. Once you've done these activities, you head on over to the captain's quarters and once again kill a bunch of cannon fodder. Once you kill all the cannon fodder in the captain's quarters, you make your way back to your ship, killing all the cannon fodder in the way. Once you get back to your ship, there's a relatively simplistic boss fight that rotates between one of 3 bosses each week. I1, Ransax, and Skits, or however you pronounce all of that nonsense. The setup of the activity has a very much strike or psyops feel to it. However, the activity will likely wear thin as the season goes on because short of the bosses rotating, the core activities that you'll be doing 90% of the time don't seem to change. The second activity is Expedition. This falls under the trappings of the more traditional Horde mode not Horde mode, where you kill things and throw balls at things. Playing through the Expedition and getting your treasure is what unlocks the third activity in this menage a trois. The Pirate Hideout, another activity with rotating bosses. Pirate hideouts are basically a lost sector, an in-and-out 20-second adventure. Go in, kill the boss, get the MacGuffin for the week, and return for more plot. Season of Plunder doesn't reinvent the Destiny wheel, but it does dress it up in a cool hat and give it a funny accent. If you're already burnt out on Horde mode, not Horde mode activities, having 2 of them to grind probably isn't going to help that. More so after Season of the Haunted's reliance on Horde mode, not Horde mode activities. and it's 2 overly grindy currencies. One of the things I'll note is that the Captain's Log holds up to 50 treasure maps, and you get 10 at the end of a Catch Crash activity. The corresponding activity Expedition only requires 5 maps to get loot. So if you're not particularly hard up for any of the loot this season, and you just want to play out the story, it's actually a relatively simple series of hoops. The other thing, a minor note, are missions called Cryptic Quantrins. You get this by purchasing the Treasure Beacon, which will give you a scroll of text and an easy to solve riddle. And by easy to solve, I mean they literally highlight the information you need in it, as if to say they couldn't trust the player base to not be stupid. And you know, since we're all still here playing Destiny, they might have a point. In the first one at least, you go to the moon and do the Lost Sector K1. After that, you play the Fallen Saber Strike and then go to Europa to unlock some loot, but I'm not sure the loot is worth the hassle. But you know what? It is something there to do if you're so inclined. All in all, Season of the Plunder is a charming repackaging of more of the same. I like the vibe, I like the presentation, and I most certainly like the break from Crow's insufferable main character syndrome. But once again, Destiny's limitations are on full display. Bungie said during their reveal stream that they worked on the engine so they no longer have to sunset content. Well, we'll see how that plays out, but if something doesn't change with the way Bungie presents seasons, I do think it'd be a ridiculously funny reality to have a Destiny in a year or two with 10 to 20 of the mechanically exact same activities, just with a different coat of paint. Bungie desperately needs to come up with a new mechanic that isn't kill ads and throw a ball. Or dunk a ball. It was old 2 years ago, now it's exhausting. Bungie's also going to have to figure out how to address loot and incentive, because a lot of banal repetition can be ignored by your average player if the items at the end of the tunnel are amazing. However, that'll always have diminishing returns, and without significant change to the core activities of the game like strikes, raids, gambit, and PvP, you know, the foundation of the game, loot feels pointless anyways. There's no point in grinding out loot that's not that much better than what I already have. Play activities that I've already been playing for years just to get more loot that's not better than what I already have. Destiny feels like it's stagnated in horizontal, minuscule, fractional progression instead of vertical forward progression. Kinda like we're dragging our feet from expansion to expansion. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. And above all else, stay frosty.